The tradition of Arkansas basketball. Two teams with legendary basketball names get set tonight in Fayetteville. It's the Razorbacks against the Runnin' Rebels. You look at the brackets, and the semifinals in New York already has one entrant. Florida State having advanced. They'll meet Nebraska, UConn's winner. Notre Dame and Michigan survivor waiting on the winner of our game tonight. And we welcome you to Fayetteville, everybody. I'm Brad Nestle with Len Elmore. Two teams, as I said, Len, with storied basketball traditions. It was just a few years ago, it seemed like they played here in Fayetteville. They were number 1 and number 2 in the country. Different story tonight, but same kind of teams. Transition basketball with great shooters, and each team's got one.
Well, when you talk about UNLV, you're talking about their 6'6" junior forward, Tyrone Nesby. He's a powerful front presence on both ends of the floor. He helps guard the lane, and at times on offense, he believes he owns the lane. He's averaging 21 points in the first 2 NIT games, and he's the barometer by which you measure UNLV's success.
He had 26 in the win over Hawaii. They had to go to OT to beat Hawaii, and he had 6 in the overtime session. On the other side, for the Razorbacks of Nolan Richardson, they got a 2-guard that loves to shoot outside the arc, and Pat Bradley.
Well, I like Pat Bradley. He's heady and he's hungry. He's the guy that sets the tone for the Hogs. You know, he hustles and he'll beat you with that, but also he shoots the 3 just as easy as most people shoot the layup. I'll tell you what, if UNLV is not careful, if they're going to sag on penetration by Arkansas, they better guard that man.
Well, hungry might be the operative word for both these teams. They both want to go to New York as the Hogs and the Runnin' Rebels get set to square off in Fayetteville coming up next. Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville, as always, alive in anticipation of their beloved Hogs and taking on the Runnin' Rebels of UNLV as we take a look at our Red Roof Inn starting lineups. First for Bill Bano and the UNLV Runnin' Rebels. Warren Rosegreen, one of the top rebounders on this club. They are not a big team. He's maybe more like 6'3" instead of 6'5", but he'll go to the glass. Lane, Nesby, Dickel, and Smith round out the 5 for UNLV. For Nolan Richardson on Arkansas, we talked about Bradley. Kareem Reed's the man that runs the show at the point. Alexander up front. Derek Hood is the top rebounder right now in the SEC, and Nick Davis starting at center. Nolan Richardson, this is not the first time he's been involved in the NIT. He won it all with Tulsa back in '81. The second time he's been in the NIT postseason, though, as head man at Arkansas. Now 289 wins here, 408 overall in his career. And one advantage you can bet as Bill Bano brings in a well-traveled team over the last couple days. Len, they've had a hard time just getting to Fayetteville. You got to wonder about their legs and their stamina against a team like Arkansas.
Well, when you come into a game like this, though, adrenaline is pumping. I don't think that it's really going to be a problem, although you see they didn't have much time for sleeping.
They beat Hawaii, and then on 2 separate flights, one through Houston, one through Dallas. Left Las Vegas at 3:30 in the morning, got to Tulsa, then took a bus to Fayetteville and had a 7 o'clock practice. And Bill said yesterday, he said, quite frankly, we had a pretty good practice. We just don't know how good our legs will be now after a day of, other than a shoot-around, sort of sitting around and waiting for a late tip time here in Fayetteville. We're all set. Trip to New York on the line. And the Runnin' Rebels will have it first. That's their point guard, Mark Dickel.
Well, if you're worried about the legs of UNLV, this is a primary test right here against the defense of Arkansas, the pressers.
Plenty of spring in the legs of Tyrone Nesby. As we said, as he goes, sometimes so goes this team. And that's a good way to start it for UNLV. A 3 outside, way outside for Nesby.
Both teams open in a man-to-man, and here's the problem for UNLV, trying to contain the penetration of Kareem Reed. That time a nice job as Reed misfires.
Kareem got the penetration, but missed inside, and now he'll pressure Dickel all the way up court. That's what Arkansas basketball has been over the years. Out of bounds, the Runnin' Rebels turn it over.
Well, that time Lane mishandled the ball, Tony Lane, the center, but it's a heck of a way for a freshman to come into Fayetteville, Arkansas, to have that welcome. Mark Dickel being faced with the type of pressure Reed applied.
I don't know if in New Zealand they had crowds quite this rowdy, huh? Inside, good move by Glendon Alexander.
Well, one of the things Bill Bano told us this morning was that he feared the up-tempo game, that they like to run, but the pressure and the transition by Kansas, as we see the turnover against the pressure there, was something that he feared.
Well, it's caused its second turnover in as many possessions. So UNLV jumped out to the 3-0 lead. lead dwindled down to a point, and Kareem Reed will inbound on the baseline. Alexander again goes inside, and nobody home. Closest man was Nick Davis, but Davis was going to the basket, and the pass was going to the baseline. So Arkansas with its first turnover. They average about 15.5 turnovers a game, but they force right around 21, and that's what they live off of, and they've done that here in the first minute and a half of play.
Take a look at the double team outside in the man-to-man pressure. Dickel having to give the ball up. Jermaine Smith, pretty good ball handler, and Slasher going to the basket. He can create opportunities.
He's double teamed at the free throw line. In all kinds of trouble, but Nesby's open on the wing. Pat Bradley pulls down the rebound. And Alexander stops and nails the three.
Well, we mentioned Pat Bradley at the beginning of the telecast, but did we leave out Glendon Alexander? 36% from three-point area in the all-conference freshman team. He shoots it like he owns it.
Well, from 3 down to a 2-point lead. 5 straight Arkansas points. Rosgreen had it blocked inside, and it comes free. Derek Hood on the run. But he can't find a handle either, and Arkansas turns it over.
Well, we talked about the problems UNLV had in getting here, but the biggest problem may not be their legs. It may be their mental preparation for this game. This is a place, Bud Walton Arena, where these fans are absolutely rabid. They're in this game as if they were on the floor themselves.
4-on-2. Bradley pulls up off the glass. And it's 7 straight Arkansas points.
This crowd was like this 10 minutes ago before any team got on the floor.
Smith trips en route to the hoop. Lost it out of bounds. 4 turnovers in the last 5 possessions for UNLV. It's exactly what Coach Beno was worried about.
And the pressure again, a nice job by Nick Davis in overplaying the passing lane. And in transition, you see the excellent ball movement. They find their man, Pat Bradley. But that's Arkansas's game. Turn you over and convert.
Bradley off balance that time. Cleaned off the glass by Keon Clark. And another turnover.
Again, I talked about the mental preparation. You know, that time Jermaine Smith not really ready for the pressure. Bradley just stepped in his way. But you've got to be cognizant, again, in transition of Arkansas reaching, grabbing, stepping in your way, anything to create a problem for you mentally or physically.
Alexander a little too quick for his own shoes, and he skips with it. And Nolan Richardson's team suffers its 3rd turnover. Nolan says this is the beginning of next year. And talking to Mike Anderson, his top assistant, who's just seated right next to him. And that is exactly the way they're viewing this NIT postseason. And that is something that Nolan didn't have to do a big sales job on this team. Sometimes you have to. You don't make the NCAA tournament, whatever the case might be. That wasn't the case. These guys wanted to keep playing as Nesby drives on the baseline. He's got 5, all 5 of the Running Rebels points. A very young Arkansas team looking to start the 97-98 campaign here late in the springtime of 97. And a foul on Bradley. That'll be the first on Pat.
That was just a great job by Jermaine Smith in attacking the pressure. Once you beat that first wave, you've got to make them play defense. That time Pat Bradley wasn't willing to. Kind of gave him the Matador slap and it's called.
Keon Clark in there at 6'11", the tallest player on the floor, and he is not normally a starter and wasn't tonight. Has a tendency for early foul trouble, and that's one of the reasons he's not a starter, but he's the leading rebounder and their 2nd leading scorer. So you'll see a lot of him the rest of the way now.
Arkansas in a 2-3 zone out of bounds.
Blocking foul, and Nicky Davis thought he held his ground, but he's called for the personal.
And Brad, you talked about Nolan Richardson's reference to next year. He really has to take a page out of the book of, say, Haskins at Minnesota or Martelli at St. Joe's. Right. Those guys did well in the NIT last year and wound up getting some confidence, getting some experience and some seasoning for the young players who blossom.
No doubt about it. Rosgreen, who is the number 2 rebounder on this team, is not a big scorer, a senior out of Fort Lauderdale.
He's their Mr. Steady. You know, he shows up, does the yeoman's work inside. It's not pretty, but he gets it done.
And UNLV will go to its bench again. Kevin James, senior guard, will come in and take Dickel's place. James, one of the top assist men. He and Dickel, the #1 and #2 assist men on this UNLV team.
Interesting substitution by Bill Bano. James, a senior, has some experience, particularly in playing next pressure.
Bradley trying to get free. Good job defensively by Jermaine Smith on him. Reed will reset it. That's a large wingspan in the middle right now. Clark waving those arms in that UNLV defense. 7 on the shot clock as Kareem tries to dish inside and does. And Derek Hood all alone.
Well, one of the things that Keon Clark has to worry about, again, if he comes and commits too much against penetration, Reed can find his man for sure.
Here's Clark on the baseline with the left hand.
Quick move to the baseline. Keon Clark showing an awful lot of savvy inside.
He wastes no time getting the shot off. Not a lot of wasted motion there either by Kareem Reed. A chance for a three-point play as he kisses it off the glass.
Two things that made that pretty. One was the obvious, the change of direction in the air. But more importantly, the push. Keon Clark was the scorer on the other end on the baseline. He had to run line to line to catch up and try to meet that penetration. Arkansas pushing the ball up.
Kareem Reed will finish this season, whenever it ends for Arkansas, as the top assist man in the SEC this year. As you saw the stat, almost 6 a game. Alvin Watson of South Carolina season over. He was second at 5.1. We're 5 minutes into this one. And it's Arkansas by 3. Reed all over James out on top. And he's double teamed and stripped to the ball. Reed with a steal. The drive and the deuce. Pretty much did that all himself.
But Kevin James that time made the mistake of trying to handle the ball against the pressure instead of moving it.
There's another mistake and another turnover. 7 turnovers on UNLV. That's what that man was worried about. And Arkansas leads by 5. (13-8) Arkansas, 14:31 remaining in the first half. And Len, right now, UNLV's on about a 30 turnover pace if they keep it up.
Well, they've come in here thinking that they were mentally prepared, but got rattled. Kevin James not getting help from his teammates to step up, and he's trying to dribble against the double team. And again, Bill Bano's fear was the transition. And as quickly as they take the ball from you, that's how quickly Arkansas can kick it up and put it in the basket.
Kareem Reed not only leads the SEC in assists, he's 3rd in steals. So he's the kind of guy that can start to wear on you in a 94-foot game that Arkansas likes to play over the course of a couple of hours. Bradley has yet to take a three-pointer. Very aware of his shooting prowess, and Jermaine Smith's been all over him tonight. Here's a lob underneath. And Rosengreen comes the other way, and it's blocked by Davis. Bradley on the break. Alexander will pull up. And the rebound off the Rosengreen.
Well, again, transition is just not a one-way street. Arkansas does a nice job of getting back defensively as well.
Arkansas, not a team that has a big-time shot blocker like a Keon Clark, but they've got 4 guys that have at least 20, including Davis, who got a hold of that last one. And he's got the rebound off the weak side. Arkansas by 5 with 13:45 left first half.
A little more of a deliberate pace. Arkansas not really comfortable in making too many passes. They've got some guys who can put the ball in the basket and create some opportunities. Good defensive job by UNLV.
Here's Hood down low, wheels, puts it up on the baseline over Clark.
But Derek Hood came into this game averaging about 10 points a game and leads the team in rebounding. Been a little quiet over the last couple of games, but again, he plays a role. He does what his team needs him to do.
6 straight again for Arkansas, and the lead is swelled to 15-8. James dishes. And I tell you, when Clark gets a hold of one under the basket, it's not just a dunk. It's an exhibition. He tries to hurt the floor, as you just saw that one.
Well, that time Kevin James probably a little more under control, a little more aware of what's going on. Nice penetration.
Kareem Reed, great look, but he missed the shot. Gave a little look away and then tried to put it in himself. Had too much spin on it, and back come the Rebels.
New York okie doke. You'll see that from those New York point guards from time to time.
Clark missed on the baseline. Last touch by Arkansas. And Arkansas goes to its bench, and for the first time in the last 3 games, Lee Wilson, senior center, will come into the lineup. Davis goes out. Wilson comes in.
The substitution by Arkansas. They're not as quick, but certainly what they lack in quickness, they still make up in defensive intensity.
And they almost throw it away as Ollie Thompson with the cross-court pass. It's knocked away. Thompson and Tariq Wallace also have checked in for Nolan Richardson, who's gone deep to his bench already.
It's a good opportunity for UNLV right now to be able to apply some of the pressure of their own.
Nesby lost it, stripped by Wilson from behind. Lane had it blocked. And Nesby got it back off the glass. He's got 7.
Pure perseverance. And again, it's a question of whether or not UNLV was going to be able to become comfortable with this pace. And right now, they've gotten back into this game by just that.
Thompson missed in close. Wilson trying to save it on the baseline. Knocked out of bounds. UNLV putting a little run of its own together. Has moved back to within 3 with 11:47 to go in the half.
With Arkansas by 3 with 11:47 left in the first half. We talked about UNLV becoming more comfortable with the pressure. Nick Davis from Arkansas, nice job of fronting Keon Clark. But Kevin James, you see him coming to your picture from your left on the penetration, creates an opportunity for Clark to get off. And again, it's because they've become more comfortable with the pressure. Clark with a nice job of holding position, and certainly with the soft hands and receiving that pass.
22 and 15 in 3 blocks against Hawaii. 23 points, 12 rebounds in the win over Memphis. And so Bill Bano's troops are back to within a 3-pointer, tying things up. Brad Nessler and Len Elmore with you from Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. These teams playing for a trip to New York. Block shot by Lee Wilson. Clark picks it up inside, and they've got the lead to 1.
And that reach, Keon Clark has really learned how to take full advantage of that. That time showing the ball and then sticking it out where nobody else could get to it.
A wingspan bigger than the body. He's slightly built, but he says people think they can take advantage of me because I'm skinny. But I have a lot of might and a lot of soul when he plays that way, when he comes into the lineup, and had quickly tonight. As we said, not a starter. Whoop, he and Lee Wilson get tangled up. But the foul is going to be Tony Lane. LPGA action tomorrow. The Standard Register Ping at 4 o'clock from Moon Valley Country Club in Phoenix. Laura Davies, a defending champion. Check all that action out starting at 4 tomorrow on ESPN. 15-14. Bradley missed a deuce and a rebound. Off to the Rebels. They have a chance to lead this trip. Smith missed it outside, and Pat Bradley pulls off the rebound.
Arkansas likes to keep the floor spread.
Here's Tariq Wallace. He's been playing extremely well as of late for Arkansas. His jumper off the mark. Almost the midway point of the first half. 15-14 Arkansas. Clark's going to take the outside jumper. Not the greatest shot of all time.
That's where the Hogs would love to see Clark trying to hit those 18-20-footers.
That was tremendous vision by Kareem Reed to kick that pass outside to Bradley, who missed the jumper. He'll try another one from the other side. Missed 2 in a row. And now numbers in UNLV's favor. Stripped. Clark picks up the loose ball. A little bit sloppy right now. Outlet to Kareem Reed. And he's mugged underneath. And I hope he didn't hurt his ankle. He landed hard and was landed on hard by Kevin James.
Well, it's been the pace that makes it look sloppy. UNLV, not accustomed to playing this kind of quick pace, and certainly inside, the quick hands leads to this turnover. You see James has it lined up. Nice job by Reed to draw the contact. Good hard foul by Kevin James. But the reason why you see UNLV struggling out there, they're really not spacing their guys. When you have a team that's going to pressure you, you've got to keep adequate spacing, force the defenders who are going to double to run a long way, and then you can find the open people.
James goes out, and Mark Dickel, the starting point guard, back in for UNLV. Here's the point guard for Arkansas, Kareem Reed. 5 points on the night. Already the number 3 man in career assists at Arkansas.
Don't think he doesn't want to go back home in New York.
That's right. He would love it. St. Ravens and the Bronx in a trip home if they can win this game. He's got another steal. And a foul on Dickel. Well, the turnover problem that UNLV was worried about has certainly cropped up on him here in the first half of the first half.
Well, one-on-one, Dickel, James, they're both having a very difficult time bringing the ball up against Kareem Reed with the quick hands and the quick feet. And again, in transition, they just know how to slow from defense to offense.
As you saw, that foul well before the shot. 9.5 minutes to go. First half, Tavis takes the outside jumper. But there to put it back in is Ollie Thompson. Hogs by 4. They want to get it down to Clark in the low block, but there is not enough spacing, as Len was talking about, to get a pass to him. And the double team forces turnover number 10. Here comes Tariq Wallace. Hood back outside. Alexander got it. Timeout for UNLV. They want to stop this right now. They got it back to within a point. 6 straight by the Razorbacks with 8:55 remaining in the half. Now they're down 7.
Well, that was a perfect example of the penetration and the dish that Arkansas likes to play. They like to draw you in with excellent penetration. But take a look at the defense here, though. And again, a nice job double teaming on the baseline and pushing it up. And in here, just making the defense back in and contract and then finding the open three-point shooter. You've got to be able to draw and dish, but the defense has to certainly be able to cover the perimeter when you have shooters like Glendon Alexander.
As we said, that last turnover, their 10th, and you can see they're approaching what they do normally in the course of a game by halftime at the rate things are going. Nesby down on the low block, and he's double teamed. Swarming Arkansas defense forces yet another turnover. Traveling violation. And that time I don't think Coach Beto was too crazy about the call.
Well, Nesby's receiving the ball on the block, but you know the double teams are coming. It's a good opportunity to hold the ball, wait till the defense comes, have the courage to take the double team, and then you've got an opportunity to find somebody open.
Wallace now playing the point. He lost one from outside. That'll get him back on the bench and Kareem Reed back in a hurry.
I was thinking the same thing. One-on-one is not the game that the Hogs are supposed to play right now.
Double team down low. Nesby's alone outside. Missed the 3. Contested by Wallace. We'll have another chance. Way short by Damian Smith. Clark had his hands on it and lost it out of bounds. 7:59 remaining first half, and Arkansas matches its biggest lead of the night. They're up 7. Arkansas by 7 with 7:59 left. We'll go from the heat of Bud Walton to the ice of Chicago coming up on the Deuce. Tomorrow night at 8:30, it's NHL Fire on Ice. The Coyotes take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Just under 8 minutes left. Here's what the Running Rebels of UNLV have done so far in the postseason NIT. They have totally dominated at the free throw line, and they've kept their turnovers at a minimum. And Len, that's not the case tonight.
Well, the reason why is because UNLV has been able to play the first 2 games in the NIT at their pace. Keep the game in the 60s and 70s. But here, Arkansas is forcing them to play beyond their RPM level. Right now, they're overheating.
They sure are. They force a turnover of their own, though, as Clark gets a steal. Smith pull up in the lane. You and I talked during the break. They seem to be just a shade off. Now, a lot of that obviously is Arkansas's defense that pressures you all over the court. Some of it very well could be a little bit of jet lag and travel just to get here to this game.
And the combination of the two, you know, it makes you maybe a little step slower, a little slow to recognize situations.
Tariq Wallace three-pointer didn't even move the nets. The lead is 8.
Again, a much better job, UNLV, of moving the ball with the pass rather than try to dribble and beat the pressure. That time, a little bit of zone pressure by Arkansas makes it easier to do that.
Well, they double in on Clark. Smith's open for 3 and got it. Damian Smith, his 44th three-pointer of the year, comes at a good time and cuts the lead back to 5. There's the three-point shooting so far. And a loose ball. And this foul is going to go on Derek Hood.
Well, there have been spurts throughout the first half where UNLV has found a comfort level and was able to execute. But then Arkansas turns up their pressure a notch, and UNLV is maybe a half step slow.
5-point game. 6:40 left first half. If you missed game 1 tonight, Florida State has advanced to New York.
Arkansas back in the pressure zone, half court.
Ooh, Davis sent that one the other way, but Clark twists inside, got a shot off. Hood throws it away.
Nicely disguised zone pressure by Arkansas. It appeared to be a man, and then they drop back in the zone as the first pass is made. UNLV still did a good job of getting off a good shot.
I think Nolan's look that he gave his team pretty much told it all on that last turnover. Nesby inside, and he drew a foul. Ollie Thompson picks up his first personal. And as we said, getting to the free throw line has been what has gotten UNLV to this point. And this guy is the one that they lean on. When he doesn't particularly play well, you can see it ends up a lot of times in the loss column. But in victory, almost 18.5 points a game.
And that behooves them to try to at least allow him to touch the ball each time down. And what that'll also do is create some ball movement, which against the pressure forces them to rotate, forces you to pick up this double team and find somebody open.
And Tyrone got them both. He's got 9 to lead UNLV, and he's let them back to within 3. Every time Arkansas looks like they're going to separate themselves, UNLV has a little bit of a push to get back into it, and they force another turnover.
Well, Arkansas with the lead and without Kareem Reed in the game, who's about to re-enter, hasn't really played with the discipline that they need to, especially with Reed not in there. He's their creator, he's their penetrator, and the guy that makes everybody better.
The floor game got a shade ugly when Kareem sat down, and he's back out there.
That's another way to put it.
We're under 6 minutes. Rebels can cut it to 1 if Nesby connects. A little bit short, and Reed pulls up the loose ball.
UNLV doing a nice job of finding Bradley, though. If they're doing anything well on defense, they're not letting Bradley get any light.
That's true. Bradley had a nice entry pass, but Derek Hood couldn't handle it, and that's turnover number 10. For Arkansas. So both teams in double figures in the turnover column. Both have almost exactly half as many turnovers as they do points. As you look at my poor math with 5:30 left, that's as close as I can get it. That's not a pace you want to be on, though. Either that or you want a real low-scoring game. Keon Clark, and again, a net ripper.
So you credit Clark for hanging in there. Didn't take off, the only red shirt on the offensive board. When you do that, sometimes you get gifts.
It's as close as it's been since 15-14.
Look at the defense on Bradley, forcing him to give it up. Really can't get that jumper off.
He does get off the 14-footer and got the roll.
Now that's pure hard work. You can see that Pat Bradley is not comfortable or all that adept at putting it on the floor, but he does what he necessarily has to get open. He couldn't hit the standstill jumper, put it on the floor a few dribbles, Got the defender out of position.
And he willed that one in. 26-23. Clark outside. He's going to go up with it. That's not the shot they want.
I tell you, though, he took it with confidence. You know, Bill Bano gives him an awful lot of freedom.
Reed inside, and it's swatted out of there. And that's another thing he does with some authority. The dunks are not the only thing that he does with some pizzazz.
Well, we talked about Keon Clark, and a lot of the things that he does, some of it has to do with perseverance. Again, hanging around on a loose ball under the basket. That won't happen if you don't stay with it. And here, the block, unfortunately, out of bounds. Young fella has to understand, when you get up that high, you can control that tip, keep it in play, and you might start the fast break.
He totally shattered the school record for block shots in a single season. That's number 109 this year for Keon Clark. Bradley, this time he got open for a three. And he gets a good look. Count it.
Layup. He's set. Great relief.
So the lead goes from 1 to 6 again in a hurry.
And really, that block shot, if Clark had kept it in bounds, his team has an opportunity to go down and get an offensive opportunity of their own.
Could have been a 5-point swing. Well, there's 3 of them back right there. Damian Smith.
I like the way Damian Smith's playing. You look and you see him out there playing confidently, clapping his hands, urging his teammates to play the same way.
Doing a good job on defense. Maybe didn't get on Bradley quite quick enough, though. I spoke too quickly.
That time, there was not a whole lot he could do. You play the jump shooter, put a hand in his face, set up nicely, but you don't want to foul him. Bradley's just a heck of a shooter.
Bradley had 5 threes in the win over Northern Arizona. All his had 3 more three-pointers in the win over Pittsburgh. And he's warming up right now. Pat Bradley, back-to-back jumpers, leading Arkansas to a 5-point lead. Arkansas by 5. You can't get a suntan in Bud Walton Arena is the biggest problem, I guess.
Well, Youth of America has changed.
Oh, my.
This is where the boys are.
You're right. He got that right. Here's what Arkansas has done in the NIT. 44% from outside the arc, and they had 33 three-pointers in their last 3 games coming into this. And tonight they're shooting 50% out there. So when they get hot from outside the three-point line, it certainly helps their cause. They're up by 5 with 3 minutes left first half here.
And we talk about the three-point line. What gets them the open shots is the penetration of Reed most of the time.
Bradley got off a three-pointer, but it got up and over the backboard off the iron. Here comes a little full-court pressure now from the Razorbacks. There's the three-point shooting tonight. That missed by Bradley just dipped Arkansas under 50%. And that one's just about an unforced error. That was not really the pressure. That was just a poor pass by Kevin James or his intended receiver going the wrong way, one of the two.
I think it was poor communication because James did the right thing. He beat the first wave of pressure and attack. Somebody's got to spot up for the jumpers on the penetration. Nobody looked for the ball.
Reed looks in low. Alexander off the dribble. Off-balance shot.
He was off.
Way off. And that's a 3. Jermaine Smith, his first field goal of the night, a three-pointer. Cuts the lead to 2, and another turnover and a chance to tie this trip for the running Rebels.
That's on Williams overpassed under the basket. At 6'7", you're under the hoop. You got to put it up.
See if they pack it into Clark. Well, Nick Davis prevented that, but that's what they were trying to do.
Well, here's Kevin James on the last UNLV turnover. Nice job of beating the press. And right there, Rose Green should have been ready, and Bill Bano believes it.
That'll make you scratch your head as a coach. 34-year-old head coach of UNLV.
It'll also make you check your deodorant.
Down to 10 on the shot clock. Gonna have to hurry one shortly.
Here's where you have to penetrate and create. That's the point guard's job.
Knocked out of there, but goaltended. Boy, you play defense that tough down to the end. A flying jumper by Kevin James, who's not a big scorer, and then you goaltend it.
Well, you create when the clock runs down. And if you're a point guard, nice jump stop by James. That one kind of looked like it was on line. But still, you want to make sure that you don't want to goaltend it.
So we've got our first tie of the ball game, Kevin, with 1:15 left first half.
And if you're at UNLV, you've got to feel good about yourselves, despite the miscommunications and the fumble fingers. You tie this one up.
Absolutely. To have 13, 14 turnovers and be in a position to lead, which they do. Yeah, that one could have hurt the backboard if he would have stayed open all the way.
Ollie Thompson saved it with some good hustle, but a nice job of body control by Keon Clark.
First lead since it was 3-0. Right now, UNLV up by 2, 33-31. And Hood with a steal underneath, and he missed in close.
Well, that was purely because of Keon Clark. Didn't leave his feet, kept both arms up. And again, we talked about his wingspan. Difficult to shoot over.
Bill Bano putting up one finger. He wants one shot. There is about a 3-second discrepancy on the shot clock and the game clock, but that's a 5-second call, and that's another turnover. With 27.2 left in the half. And coming up at halftime, we'll have the Florida State-West Virginia highlights. Talk about Utah's turning hopes in the NCAA, the NBA, and NHL, all that with Chris Fowler and Digger Phelps coming up in less than a half minute. So let's see. Who's going to lead, or will we be tied at halftime? We'll know here in the next 17 seconds. Kareem Reed pulls it out. Arkansas plays for one. They've led by as many as 8. And now Kareem with a move. Got double teamed and stripped of the ball. Half quarter almost went, and the halftime lead, almost unbelievably, belongs to UNLV. That is the reason. That gentleman right there, 11 boards and 10 rebounds. And at halftime, surprisingly, the running Rebels with a 33-31 lead as we send it to halftime. Chris and Digger, guys. Halftime at Fayetteville, the Razorbacks trail by 2. Welcome back to Bud Walton Arena. Brad Nessler and Len Elmore. Len, I don't think I've ever seen a game where a team's had 15 first-half turnovers and had a halftime lead. It's amazing.
Well, this game's been played kind of like a good book in chapters, and the first chapter had a lot to do with the activity of the Arkansas defense. You know, they've been able to get involved, get their hands on balls, and create a lot of problems for the UNLV guards. As you take a look here, a great example. And then on the other end, in transition, getting some open jump shots. But UNLV has weathered the storm, and primarily because their big guy, Keon Clark, has been able to hang around the basket, get some penetration, feeds, and also some offensive rebounds. He's pretty much kept them where they are.
Stats almost identical. The difference in free throws, really the difference in the ball game right now, and that is 2 points. And so if this is a book, we've got at least 20 pages left as we start the second half. And we'll see if the Razorbacks can regain control of the game. They led by 8 at one point in the first half. Bradley packs it right back into Hood, who wheels and had one roll out. Alexander, tough rebound, and he's fouled underneath.
Well, Arkansas comes out with a set play, moving the ball, trying to get it to their scorer, Derek Hood, on the block. Nolan looks like...
Hey, the shirt's unbuttoned.
Yeah, he looks like he's finally gotten into this game. He was a little staid, prim, and proper. That's not the Nolan Richardson we've come to know.
That's right. So Glennon Alexander, who had 8 points in the first half, his first trip to the free throw line. And they had trouble from the free throw line in their last game. Only went 15 out of 27, 56% in the win over Pittsburgh. But over the course of the last 10-12 games, Arkansas has shot much better from the stripe. And he missed them both. Another rebound off to Dickel.
Dickel pushing the ball up. That's one way to beat the pressure. Don't let it set up.
Rose Green trying to pack it inside. It was a good thought, but an even better play by Davis defensively. Turnover for turnover on each end. That's 13 against Arkansas. We talked so much about UNLV having turned it over now 16 times. Arkansas hasn't exactly been careful with the ball either.
Well, last time down, Arkansas in a zone, and Rose Green didn't recognize it. This time, Arkansas comes back in a man-to-man.
Wow, that pass had something on it. Down low to Rosgreen. Off the throw from Clark.
The beauty of it is that Clark can see over everyone.
That's right. Everything he does with that left hand has some speed on it, including that last assist. And the biggest lead of the ball game for UNLV, up 4. Watch his pass.
And this is what I mean by taking the defense. There was some pressure applied to Clark, but he just held his ground and waited for the open man to make the cut.
The Hog hopefuls a little bit restless in Bud Walton now. Their team down by 4 after controlling things in the first half, or at least for much of it. Nesby on a turn. That was a wicked shot. He's got 11.
One of the few isolations that Nesby's been able to work against one-on-one. And when you do that, Nesby's going to win more times than not.
Alexander got his man up, and he's going to go back to the free throw line. Nesby picks up the foul. That'll be 2 here in this half on him. Well,
Nesby's upset, and I don't know why he's upset about that call. His man got him off his feet and then was able to draw the contact. You know, that's one of those you just have to file away and forget about it and move on.
Alexander back to the line where he missed his last 2. Got it working now. The most prolific scorer in Texas high school basketball history. Over 3,600 high school points for this guy, and on his way to double figures if he hits this one. And he got the roll. 10 for Glendon. And the lead is cut back to 4.
Again, full court pressure by Arkansas, really changing the defenses right now, hoping that they can confuse the freshman Dickel.
Well, Dickel did a nice job to break the pressure, but the shot he took wasn't a thing of beauty.
There was the adage, when in doubt, shoot.
When in doubt, put it somewhere up near the hoop and hope you get help from your friends. Tariq Wallace, he flies in for a 12-footer and got it. Back-to-back baskets now by Arkansas. They're right back in the thick of it. Here comes the pressure.
Dickel's got to be careful again, trying to dribble against that pressure instead of looking up court.
And a push inside, and it's going to be, I believe it's on Dickel. He's the one that has the most perplexed look on his face. That's his second foul. It's a little frustrating bringing that ball up court and having 2 or 3 Razorbacks on you, and then you come down and put both arms up trying to go through a screen, and he picks up his second foul. 2-point game.
He gave the ball up, and he still had somebody on him.
Bradley for the lead. And the rebound off to James.
Now, James's presence, particularly in the first half, kind of settled UNLV down. He remarkably was the reason for them to get back in this game.
Nesby charged. And that's 3 in 2.5 minutes. And that's going to bring him to the UNLV bench in a hurry.
And I can't help but think that Nesby's still thinking about that call on the other end. Again, he seems to have an open lane, but a little bit out of control. That was a good time for a jump stop. Use that backboard for a short jumper.
So he sits. And Damian Smith comes in to take his spot. Bradley rips it. He's got 11.
And he's being guarded by Jermaine Smith, who's done a nice job on him, but he needs help, and Bradley comes off those picks.
6 straight for Arkansas. And we're tied again. Smith and Hood bump, and Hood's going to pick up the foul. Nolan Richardson won a junior college championship at Western Texas in '80. Won the NIT with Tulsa in '81, and then, of course, on a perennial basis, a power in the NCAA, including the champion of '94 and runner-up in '95.
And he's got a commitment from a 7-footer coming in here, and he's got a good line on another big man. You know, you add that to the players that they have now, Kareem Reed, Derek Hood. You know, they'll be a pretty good ball team next year, and it's very timely considering the fact that Kentucky's probably going to come back to earth.
Yeah, you think they will eventually, right?
Well, I guess every year when they lose 2 or 3 guys to the pros, we think that, but they wind up replacing them with somebody else.
Clark got another block, his second of the game. Pull-up jumper, the three won't go, and Davis and Alexander all alone for the rebound.
And you can tell it was a quick shot because there are no red shirts on the offensive glass.
Not one. Bradley. Hood off the weak side. Nice position for the rebound, but not so nice attempt to put it back in off the glass.
Hood had Keon Clark on his mind on that shot.
Yeah, I think so. James working against Tariq Wallace. Packs it down low to Lane off the glass. Tony Lane, tough shot, his first basket of the night.
Good patience by UNLV and by Tony Lane when he received on the block.
And Wallace drains one. And we're tied at 40. 4 minutes into the second half. James in low and Lane back-to-back hoops. Nice dish.
Going back to Kevin James and his play, penetrating, beating the defense, and then finding people. That'll do enough to take the pressure off.
Inside, Hood wheels on Clark on the baseline. That's a tough shot over a wingspan as big as Keon Clark's. And UNLV maintains its lead, although Arkansas's cut into it. It's a 2-point ball game. This is the third meeting between these two teams, but who could forget the one 6 years ago? The #1 and #2 teams in the country. Jerry Tarkanian had the #1 club in the land, and Nolan Richardson's team was ranked #2. They played at Barnhill, and Oliver Miller and Todd May and those guys for Arkansas, but it was Larry Johnson and Stacy Augman and company that prevailed in a game that went up and down the court. The final was 112 to 105. And subsequently, UNLV went on to lose to Duke in the Final Four that year. But here's some of the names and the remembrances of that game that was a little over 6 years ago.
Well, glory days. You can certainly take a look here. See 6 first-round NBA picks. Greg Anthony, Larry Johnson, Stacey Augman, Lee Mayberry, Todd Day, Oliver Miller. You know, it's hard to find that kind of talent in one game.
You got that right.
That helps the scout's budget, you know. You go to one game and you've done your scouting for the year.
That one was huge. So Arkansas 0-2 series-wise against UNLV. Bradley hits a 3. 14 for Pat Bradley to lead Arkansas. And they're back in front by 1.
Another important thing besides putting them out in front and get this crowd back in the ball game.
Absolutely.
And certainly Arkansas has used the crowd to their advantage during the times they've made their runs.
Boy, there's a guy that's played a pretty good ball game quietly tonight. Damian Smith, pull-up jumper. He's got 10. Here's a lob underneath. They almost threw it away.
Good catch by Nick Davis and presence of mind to save it.
Alexander had it swatted out of there by Clark.
Just when you think you're going to get it up there.
Tariq Wallace, and he got another 3. His third of the night. 11 points in the game, a couple of triples this half, and now it's a 2-point Arkansas advantage.
This Arkansas team averaging 80 points a game. They shoot 35% of their field goal attempts from beyond the 3-point range.
This time, Jermaine Smith missed in close, and Arkansas brings it the other way.
And that's a large percentage of field goal attempts from that far out. But they're on their game right now.
Here comes another one. There goes another one. UNLV might want to talk about this right now. They've gone from being up by 6 to being down by 5, and it happened in a hurry. Pat Bradley and Arkansas starting to warm up. As Len said, when they get it working outside the arc, you got to look out. Bradley had one a couple of moments ago.
And Pat Bradley uses picks so well. You look at him freeze the defender and then step behind, square up. Nice little head and shoulders fake to get him off the feet.
He's got 2 3-pointers tonight, but Alexander's got 3.
And we talked about the fact that they shoot 35% of their field goal attempts from beyond 3-point range. That's about 23 a game. Only got 10 up in the first half, but they're making up for lost time.
8 3-pointers in this game, 256 3-pointers on the season. And there you see 4 of 6. They hit 3 in a row. And all of a sudden, being down 37-31, they're up 49-44. And as Lenny said, the crowd definitely back into it. Most of them on their feet right now. Reed with a steal. They'll be on their feet after Davis goes in. Going to have to hustle. And they do get it across. Smith trying to get it up. And goes right back in with it. Deflected off Davis. And Jermaine Smith kisses it off the glass. 51-46.
Nice job by Smith to save what was probably going to be a lost opportunity, a 3-on-2 break, and they didn't look like they were going to get a good shot or a shot at all.
Bradley had his man slip. And he slips in a two-pointer.
Oh, man, the hot hand is contagious.
16 for Bradley. Jermaine Smith, a little bit short-armed. This guy won't short-arm one, but he's not going to get the chance as Ollie Thompson fouls him and makes sure.
Yeah, Clark has no choice but to long-arm it. And again, it's just a question of hanging around on that offensive glass. That's what allowed UNLV to get back in the ball game after a slow start in the first half.
So Keon Clark, who played at Dixie College, junior college ball in Utah, out of Danville, Illinois. 10 points and 11 rebounds in that first half. And that's his first point of the second half.
And, you know, you talked about his shot blocking capabilities. Earlier this year, he blocked 8 shots in only 24 minutes in a game. You know, I'd like to see the team that kept going at it.
San Diego State, they had to have been wondering if they shouldn't be on the football field instead of a basketball court in that one. There was that many blocks in it anyway. Reed. Here's Wallace. He's been hot this half. Kareem Reed playing for the steal, and he picks up the foul.
And although he got called for the foul, that's one of the problems that you face when you're up against the Arkansas trap. You know, once you think you've got the trap beat and you're looking up court, here you have Kareem Reed making up ground from behind, looking to slap the ball away. Again, creating mental pressure, forcing you to think about more than one thing.
Dickel, not a big offensive threat. He gives it up for the three-pointer, and it pays off. Damian Smith hits his third triple of the night.
Well, UNLV is not going to go quietly. They have some guys that can provide some quick offense as well. It's a question of them taking care of the ball and not letting Arkansas get in that groove in transition, as well as half-court offensively and swinging the ball around the horn.
As well as we've seen UNLV shoot the three. They came in with 100 less on the season than Arkansas. And Bradley rips another one. Wow.
I said at the beginning of the telecast, the kid shoots them like layups.
Right now, the basket looks like the front door at Walmart to Arkansas.
And he's got a big shopping cart. Taking all the goodies.
Down low, a foul. And they call it on Ollie Thompson, I believe. He and Bradley were both there. Tony Lane will check back in for UNLV. And Keon Clark's going to get a breather.
And this is a good test for Bill Baino's team, particularly in a situation, again, you're not only looking to win this game, but you're looking forward to see what you have next year. In adverse situations such as this, with this type of crowd and this type of pressure, they've done a nice job of hanging in there. They've been bending, but they haven't broken yet, and they found ways to kind of stall the run by Arkansas, getting the ball inside, hitting threes, moving the ball around.
Rosgreen got the second of two to cut the lead down to 7 with 11:37 to go. The Razorbacks trying to run away with this NIT quarterfinal. Well, that one's halfway to the barbecue pit. Carried them all the way to the top row. 59-52, Arkansas trying to get to the NIT semifinals. The winner of this one goes on to New York. Semifinals 7 and 9. Coming up next Tuesday with the NIT championship at Madison Square Garden on the 27th at 7:30. And already one participant in. That's Florida State by virtue of their win over West Virginia tonight.
Take a look at Pat Bradley again, using the picks nicely, freezing his man. And you notice when he receives how his feet and his shoulders are square to the basket. No wasted motion. He's ready to launch it.
There's the numbers. Alexander, Bradley, and Wallace. And in the last 4 games, Arkansas has hit 43 three-pointers. You don't have to be a math major to figure out double figures a game average, putting it in outside the arc, and they have really warmed up this half. That's what's gotten them the lead at 59-52. Amazingly, they trailed by 6 early in the second half. Kareem Reed.
That's a good show of discipline right there. Again, not being able to get the open shots, kicked it back outside, spread the floor, and let their main creator go to work.
Biggest advantage of the night. Arkansas at 9, and Hood trying to come up with another steal. Does. Wallace, it's a 4-on-1. Kareem Reed got it back, scored it with a right hand.
And there's a good sign of UNLV might be a little winded right now, might be a little leg weary. No one able to get back in time defensively to help out Dickel.
Rose Green, flying hook shot won't go. Got it back and scored it inside. Tough guy. As we said, he's not really the 6'5" he's listed, but he works hard to get the offensive rebound. And he comes up with a defensive rebound on the other end. 3-on-2, UNLV. Smith for 3. That would have been huge had it gone. Midway point of the second half, and it's Arkansas by 9. And Rose Green's got 3 rebounds in a row.
Nice job of blocking out Derek Hood that time. Rose Green using his upper body strength.
Nice movement down court on the transition game, and a foul as Tony Lane draws it in the lane. They'll call it on Nicky Davis. It'll be his second. James comes back in. Smith and Dickel get a breather, and Davis sits down for Arkansas.
You know, we talk about Warren Rose Green, and you take a look at him, and again, he doesn't look like he's 6'6", as you mentioned, but he does a nice job of holding ground underneath. And a lot of it has to do with that body strength that he portrays, he exudes. We saw that picture in the press guide, him standing next to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he dwarfs Schwarzenegger.
I was going to say, we don't want to make Arnold look bad, but Warren's considerably larger. Thompson saves it on the baseline. 8-point game. Alexander way out for the 3. Bradley pulled down the miss.
UNLV trying to play some defense, make a couple of stops. They keep chipping away. Arkansas sometimes plays into their hands with a low percentage and missed opportunities.
Wow, that one would have brought the house down. Ali Thompson almost brought the rim down. Pretty good lob by Kareem Reed, but it rattled out, and it'll give it back to the running Rebels. Down 63-55, and we're under 9.5 minutes remaining. Brad Nessler and Len Elmore from Bud Walton Arena. The winner of this one goes on to New York and the NIT semifinals next week. Nesby for 3. Short on that. Way short on that.
That may have had something to do with his leg. He's tired.
Bradley on a rare inside move and comes up with a foul.
Hey, man, when you shoot the jumper like that, why would you try to
I don't know. I thought he was going to pull up outside the arc.
Take a look at Bradley right there, recognizing the defense. Had an opportunity for a nice little jump shot. Jump stop on the jump shot.
Full court pressure again. Deion Clark trying to take Alexander to the hole and has his pocket picked.
But in fairness to Clark, we watched him practice today, and they work on that every day. Big man in particular, on that hesitation dribble. So it's something that he does.
Bradley had a 3 rattle out, and on the rebound, a foul on Derek Hood. Picks up his 3rd personal.
And the way this story's being written, you can take a look at Arkansas. You know, they can get on a run. They get a streak of a couple in a row, and then suddenly 3 or 4 possessions, they don't even get shots. Offensive foul, a turnover, a foul on a rebound. That's what allows UNLV to stick close.
And the Running Rebels will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. Remember that graphic we showed you earlier? The reason they have gotten through 2 games, wins over Memphis and Hawaii, have been because of a lopsided advantage from the free throw line. And now they're going to be shooting free throws for the next 8:45. Hopefully they'll shoot them better than that one. As Rosegreen was way off the mark, but kept alive. 3-pointer. Boy, he goes up and gets it. Nesby inside off the glass. Well, he had 3 shots out. Couldn't connect. And Arkansas brings it the other way. Bradley all alone, and he gave it up to Alexander. Rosegreen's injured on the other end of the court. They can't stop play because Arkansas's got the ball. And now finally a whistle will slow things down. Let's see if Rosegreen's going to limp off. He went down hard as he crashed the glass on the other end. He just trying to wave off his head coach to not bring in a replacement. And apparently they're going to leave him alone.
Rosegreen looked as though he got hit right in the forehead with an elbow. And it takes an awful lot to bring that big man down. You take a look at the shot. Here's the play right here. Battle underneath. Well, actually, this is the play where there was an attempt to call a timeout, but officials felt that the Arkansas play didn't have possession.
Still an 8-point game. We've just gone under 8 minutes remaining. Here's Rosegreen inside, and he drew a foul on Alexander.
Well, see, you got him mad. For Warren Rosegreen, we talked about him bringing a lunch pail to work, nothing fancy, but getting on the board, creating space for himself with his upper body strength, good hands underneath. And again, nice reception on the baseline, and he just powers to the hole. Right there, it looked pretty close.
6 points on the game for Warren. A senior out of Fort Lauderdale, played his junior college ball in Ontario, California. He's just having trouble finding it from the free throw line, where he is 2 for 6 tonight. Fans still not happy with the last call. Got the second and cut further into Arkansas's lead. But with 7:53 left, they are still up by 7. (63-56) Arkansas with 7:53 remaining. Best in the world take to the ice in Switzerland for the World Figure Skating Championship presented by MasterCard tonight starting at 12:30. Actually tomorrow morning 12:30 a.m. It's the men's short program on the Deuce. Then on Friday our coverage moves to ESPN starting time 8 o'clock. World Figure Skating Championships on ESPN and ESPN2. Brad Netzler and Len Elmore from Fayetteville, where Arkansas has been lofting it from outside the arc tonight.
And they're pretty much on track. We talked about the fact that of their total field goal attempts, 35% of them are from 3. And that's pretty darn close, if not beyond that 35% mark. That's their game.
And percentage-wise, when you can shoot as well out there as you do from inside, you're having a pretty good night. Nice reverse layup inside.
Good use of the wingspan by Derek Hood on that one as well, using the rim to protect himself from Keon Clark.
Derek's first field goal of the second half. Alexander playing Clark now. That's a mismatch size-wise, and he drew a foul down low.
Well, one thing that I've seen that characterizes Keon Clark's game is that he doesn't suffer from any confidence deficit. You know, if he misses a shot, he gives you that look like, hey, I should have made that one. That's every time down.
The other thing, and much like when we watched him at the shoot-around today, is he didn't take much time letting that thing go either. He gets it, and he puts it up there.
You know, he's just got so much upside potential right now, just really learning how to play this game. You combine that confidence with a more refined skill level, and this kid's going to be one heck of a player next year.
Made the all-newcomer team, the all-defensive team, and first team all-pack division in the WAC this year, and you can see why. Last touch by Arkansas.
Well, that time James tried to feed Clark inside under the basket, but he threw the ball down at his waist with that wingspan. Just throw it up to the basket.
Inside, shot blocked by Hood, goaltending call. Second goaltending call of the night against Arkansas.
Good movement by Arkansas, using picks, trying to get people open.
Kareem Reed going to penetrate, and the flying one-hander drops for him. He's got 11.
And that's the value of a point guard, particularly in college basketball. That clock starts running down, and you have somebody who can create. Puts a lot of pressure on the D.
Eric Hood rebound off the miss by Smith. The other thing Kareem Reed does every time he drives in the paint, knowing his size limitations, he gets it as high up there as he can. Great look to Hood. Block shot by Clark. But he gives his teammates a chance to go get it if he misses. He's quite frankly connected on most of them tonight. He's brought in there. Ollie Thompson sends that one out of there. It's a block party right now.
2 consecutive great plays defensively.
Alexander for 3. And Arkansas has cooled off. They're still up by 8, and we're under 6 minutes.
But Bradley has been on the bench. Nolan Richardson just motioned for him to get back in the ball game. A lot of that has to do with the fact that those shots are open.
Clark doubled. Nice look inside. Rosegreen with a left hand drew a foul. Nope.
He's on the baseline.
He stepped on the baseline. Right now, the running Rebels look like the red-eye Rebels a little bit to me. Everybody looks a little bit tired. I don't really blame them. 5.5 minutes, 5:34 remaining in the ball game. And we've got a timeout here. Time to remind you that tonight at 12:30 a.m. Guess we can call that tomorrow morning. It's March Madness. John Saunders is along. Mac McCarthy's with him. Tubby Smith, Skip Prosser. They'll all be talking about the upcoming NCAA tournament from Michael Jordan's restaurant in Chicago. You can get the inside story on the tournament from our gang starting up, well, about an hour after we're done with this game. Here's the storyline so far. UNLV, 22 turnovers. Keon Clark with a double-double, yet another. His 15th of the year has kept him in the game. But the three-point shooting of Arkansas, including Pat Bradley, who leads the club with 19, has been the story in the second half. As Arkansas was down a deuce at halftime, they trailed by as many as 6 in this half. But they've also seen their lead swell to 11, 63-52 a couple of moments ago. Right now, they're up by 8.
Not a lot Pat Bradley could do with Keon Clark coming at him on the jumper, but a nice pass.
Clark fouls Ollie Thompson.
Bradley, a seasoned sophomore, recognized that he drew the defense and then kicked it out to Ollie Thompson. And with the defense out of rotation, Thompson able to make some penetration into the paint. When you can do that, you make things happen.
We talked about the youth on this Arkansas team. They lose Lee Wilson, who was their senior center, but who's played maybe 2 minutes tonight and has not played most of the second half of this season. Everybody else is coming back. So you add that to, as Len said, what Nolan Richardson has coming in. There's Lee Wilson. He part of that pair of twin towers with Darnell Robinson, who opted for a shot at professional basketball a little bit early, a little bit prematurely in most people's opinion, but
let's add the adjective too prematurely.
Rosegreen, not a great shooter, but when he gets in low, he has a great vertical leap of about 38, 40 inches and throws it down at the basket. And the lead is down to 7.
And the thing I like about him is he doesn't play outside of himself. He plays within.
Arkansas trying not to stand around. They're trying to free up somebody. They're having a little bit of trouble with their half-court game right now. This might help them. Well, that'll help them. The miss, but Hood is there to clean up.
Great job by Derek Hood. Didn't give up on the play. Fought Clark for position.
Dickel, not a big shooter. Clark keeps it alive, though. They're working Rose Green right now. James, and he found the back door and a great pass to Tyrone Nesby. That was a nice look by Kevin James. And Dickel tips it out to himself on the run. Rose Green, who else is there? And he's fouled by Kareem Reed.
And that's really been the bane of Arkansas's game right now, the quick shot. When they take the quick shot, they've got nobody in position. We'll take a look here on the last basket by UNLV. Good ball movement. Kicking it back outside, and there's Nesby on the left-hand side of your screen, motioning that he's open. Good job by James to find him. Again, good ball movement, catching the pressure out of rotation and finding the open man, which is what you have to do.
And Nesby had the whole backside of the court to himself.
But the other side of it is Arkansas comes down after that basket, and instead of setting up, making sure they get a good shot, they take a quick shot, and it leads to another opportunity for points for UNLV.
Warren Rosegreen, as you look from right behind the rim, has hit his last 2 free throws now after struggling most of the game from the stripe. Obviously, we've had a better look at the rim than Warren has from the free throw line tonight. And Davis on the miss with a rebound, but it's a 6-point game. Running Rebels keep hanging around. And Arkansas keeps turning it over. They got it right back, though. Kareem Reed says, okay, gentlemen, let's calm things down a little bit.
Good decision by the sophomore. Again, recognizing the quick shot was hurting them. They're a little bit out of sync. He wants to jog them back into, their revolution, their RPM, revolutions per minute.
The minutes down to just over 3. The lead is 6, and Nolan Richardson wants a timeout. 22nder taken by the Razorbacks. And he's letting his troops know that they need to hold on to the basketball here in the waning moments. Bradley with 19. He has 3 threes tonight. Kareem Reed, 11 points, 5 rebounds, but never really tells the story of his game. As Len said a moment ago, just slowing things down when there seemed to be a little more chaos in the half-court offense than there needed to be for Arkansas, showed that his maturity level has gone up over the course of the last year.
And when you have that in a sophomore, you know you have a gift. There are a lot of teams out there playing with freshmen and sophomores who are forced to make junior and senior decisions and aren't really up to the task.
And as Lenny mentioned earlier, Kareem would like to go home to the NIT semifinals. That shot by Tariq Wallace gets him another step closer.
And shots like that might earn Tariq Wallace a nice dinner on Broadway from Kareem Reed.
No kidding. That might help him to the tavern on the green, huh? 2:53 remaining. It's a 9-point ball game. 3 of them courtesy of Tariq Wallace. 5 of them tonight for him. Well, a barbecue in New York might not be as good as it is in Fayetteville, but you can eat any time of the day or night or morning. There's plenty of places to look for food. In the 90s, here's what Arkansas has done, including a national championship in 94, runners-up in 95, and you can see the other Sweet 16, Elite 8s, and Final Fours Nolan Richardson has put together. And right now, they are 2 minutes and 53 seconds away from going to the NIT semifinals, courtesy of Tariq Wallace and company. Career high 17. He's got 5 3-pointers. His previous best this year was 16 against Jackson State and Kentucky. And Nesby loads up from outside. That's only his second 3-pointer, but it comes at a good time.
Big-time play by Nesby. You saw James and Reed battling. Reed takes a flop, and that might have hurt his team. It allowed James to find the open man.
Tough foul. And Damian Smith is first. Bill Bano won't be 35 years old until May. It's kind of restored the faithful at UNLV. They're coming back to the Thomas and Mack Center. They're averaging about 14 1,000 people a game. They went 10-16 last year. They are 22-9 coming into this one. And Bradley went one way, and Nick Davis's pass went the other.
Well, that time Bradley, who moves well without the ball, saw the pressure and the overplay, wanted to go back door to release the pressure. Davis had other thoughts.
So we've got a timeout taken by UNLV with 2:12 remaining in the ball game. Keith Olbermann and Larry Beal coming up with Sports Center shortly. They'll have Warriors Heat highlights, the NHL playoff chase. Arnie's back on the course and hitting the ball, he says, as well, at least off the practice tee, as he ever has. It's just taking that energy to the course that's been a little bit harder for him. Here's a timeout situation. Both teams with a couple of full timeouts remaining. You can see Arkansas over the limit in fouls, so UNLV will be shooting 2 the rest of the way, and the next UNLV foul will put Arkansas on the free throw line. They're down approaching 2 minutes with Len Elmore, Brad Nessel with you at Fayetteville. If UNLV's to make a run to New York, they're going to have to put a run together in the next 2 minutes.
And seeing that Arkansas is in a 2-shot penalty, this is a great opportunity for UNLV to attack the basket, force the issue, and force them to foul.
There's what they just did, but they lost the handle on the baseline. That's been the story of the game. Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. 24 in the game.
UNLV applying a little pressure of their own. They look as though they want to play the foul game right now.
And that one's going to be on Kevin James. The brain trust at UNLV over there talking about what is going to transpire, what they hope to transpire in the next minute 48 seconds. There's a turnover story.
And despite those turnovers by UNLV, they've had opportunities to be in this game, actually had a lead for a period of time.
Kareem Reed, the little guy, has hit 33 of his last 43 free throws. And 12 points on the night. Got the roll on the second. No shortage of double-figure scores on Arkansas. They got 4 tonight and almost have a 5th.
If I'm Arkansas, I try to shadow right now. I don't want to play too much pressure. That time, Kareem Reed a little too close. You can read his lips. I didn't foul it.
Nolan Richardson out on the court and all over his point guard, and Len said he gave his coach an answer.
It wasn't the one he saw. No. But again, Nolan Richardson trying to impart to his players, don't stop the clock. You don't have to with an unnecessary foul.
Nolan's not acting here, but a movie that he is part of is debuting next week called The Sixth Man, college basketball movie.
Aren't you in that one too?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Mr. Vitale and I are in that, but it was funny. We filmed the same day that Nolan did, and he had what was basically a little cameo part, and he got so into it, he got in an argument with an official as part of the scene he's in. He's throwing his jacket. He's in this ref's face. It was great, and it became about 3 times longer in the movie than it was supposed to be because he got into character so well. Tonight he's not out of character the way he coaches, that's for sure. It's a 6-point game, and he's still up and worried about his Razorbacks. And there's a push foul on Warren Rosegreen.
Well, if you're going to foul a guy, that's not the guy you want to foul. 92% from the free throw line, Pat Bradley. But a good job, again, in splitting the double team. It looked as though UNLV wanted to apply at least one trap to steal the ball. They didn't foul back there. But Bradley, splitting the double team, saved an awful lot of seconds. Or actually melted a lot of seconds off the clock for Arkansas.
So Pat Bradley, the 6'2 sophomore out of Everett, Mass. First Massachusetts player ever to get a scholarship to play at Arkansas. And he rips the free throw. He doesn't miss many. He missed one against Pittsburgh. It was almost front-page news here. And as Digger Phelps was telling the story, as Nolan Richardson was recruiting Ron Mercer, he watched this guy in a game hit 7 threes and said, well, you never have too many shooters. 77-69. Time running out on the running Rebels. Foul down low on Nick Davis.
Again, I'm a little surprised that Arkansas is playing so aggressively defensively on people without the ball. I mean, the bottom line is you've got guys stationed along the three-point area. That's what UNLV is looking for, a little inside-outside action, but you don't want to foul, stop the clock, give them an opportunity to get some points on the board.
And Clark is short on his last two free throws.
And we didn't think it was possible.
Nope. His arms are long enough, but the energy level is a little low, I think. Somebody has to tell him to bend those knees a little bit. You can see he's got giant legs. Those are bird legs. He got the second one. Rosery got a quick breather and now comes back in to play defense.
UNLV again looking to set up full court. Try and trap the first one before they could commit the foul, see if they can get a steal.
They don't want to foul Bradley. They try to play off him, and now they foul Reed. They did everything in their power to make Pat Bradley give it up but not foul him, and what they did is probably lost about 8 seconds off the clock, but they did at least foul a guy that they think could conceivably miss one once in a while.
Well, at the beginning of the telecast, we talked about Tyrone Nesby being that barometer to measure whether or not UNLV is going to be successful. You take a look, he's had a pretty decent game, 16 points, 6 rebounds. And he's been averaging over the season about 17.7 rebounds. Lately, though, in the last 2 games in the NIT, he's been averaging over 20 points a game. So, again, under his NIT average, right around his season average. And UNLV was in this ball game for the most part.
Well, that is a break that UNLV needed a missed free throw, but Nick Davis and Keon Clark go up for the rebound, and they give Nick Davis credit for the basket, but quite frankly, it could have been Keon Clark's. You saw the disgust on his face as now the lead is 9. The time is 1:02. And the Razorbacks are thinking about New York City.
And it bears repeating that when you have the type of pressure applied to you that Arkansas has done to UNLV, combined with their travel problems, being this far away from home, you know, it wears you down mentally, and those errors down the stretch are mental errors.
1:02, all that remains in this one, and it's Arkansas by 9. And Keith and Larry are 62 seconds away from Sports Center. 79-70, Arkansas. The fans who come out pointed. Fans have come out in full force tonight for this NIT quarterfinal, and they are so close to it now they can taste it. Tariq Wallace, career night for him, and his three-point shooting, especially in the second half, one of the main focal points of coming from behind by the Razorbacks to what looks like is going to be a win. 18 points on the night.
With 1 minute and 2 seconds, that free throw made it a 4-possession ball game. And it's going to be tough. UNLV, not a great pressure team. It's going to be tough to create the turnovers to get to that extra possession that you need.
They've got to hurry. And their coach, Bill Badel, trying to urge them on to get the shot up. They got a pretty good look. Three-pointer doesn't go. Clark there, and he's got a chance for a three-point play, and it fouls Nick Davis out of the game as well.
And Nolan's scratching his head, giving that kind of wry smile, but also under the strain of trying to remain pretty much composed. Those are the types of things that drive a coach nuts.
Yep.
And it's not only the offensive rebound, but it's the attempt, once again, stopping the clock. Exactly. If you're Arkansas, you don't want to stop the clock. Right, Nick?
I'm sure he knows it. If he doesn't know it, he will in a minute. It's too late now. He leaves with 7 boards and 4 points and 47.5 seconds left. And Keon Clark does get the three-point play. So that quiets everybody. What looked like an insurmountable lead's cut down to 7. And 20-second timeout as they show good pressure on the full court defense. That is a full timeout. They wanted to take a 20. Their 20s are gone. So we'll take a timeout as well. 7-point game with 47.5 to go. Seven-point ball game with 47 seconds remaining in this NIT quarterfinal. Well, they hope to be spreading the news They want to be a part of it in New York next week. If they hold on, Arkansas will go on to meet the survivor of Michigan and Notre Dame, and the Wolverines playing very well right now. Florida State with a mild surprise. I don't know, you didn't think it was a surprise, Len. You've seen the Seminoles more than I have this year.
Well, they've been able to withstand some tough situations. I thought that they had an opportunity, instead of beating Wake Forest once, 3 times. They're a quality team.
And then Nebraska and UConn in the other game. They will meet the Seminoles in the other side of the bracket with the semifinals next Tuesday at 7 and 9, and the championship a week from Thursday at Madison Square Garden. They don't want to foul Pat Bradley, and they end up losing a lot of time playing defense for that very reason. They get a double team on him. There, they got rid of it, and they fouled Tariq Wallace. Problem is, Tariq Wallace is a 74% free throw shooter. There's just not a bad situation out there right now, or a good situation if you're UNLV as far as who to foul.
Well, certainly you don't want Pat Bradley shooting the free throws, but you don't want him bringing it up. You have to double him, force him to give it up a lot earlier than they did. They allowed him to cross half court, and as you say, whittle an awful lot of time off that clock.
13.5 seconds they used by the time they finally got a hold of Wallace, who has 18 points on the night. Played at Shorter College before coming to Arkansas. Got them both. Big night, 20-point night for Tariq Wallace. And the lead, 9. Smith on a fall-away three-pointer. Pat Bradley the rebound, exactly who you'd like to have his hands on the basketball here if you're Arkansas. And they have to foul him. This time running out on him. Smith fouls him. And it looks like the season for the Runnin' Rebels will end at 22 and 10. While the Razorbacks will live to see another game. Kareem Reed can't wait, I bet. He'll be going to his old stomping grounds to play some more basketball. Bradley with 22 tonight. Reed's got 13. Alexander's got 13, and a career-high 20 for Tariq Wallace. Great balance by the Razorbacks. They forced some first-half turnovers, saw themselves actually down at the break by 2, trailed by as many as 6 in the second half, but they have come back on their home floor where they are so tough and giving the fans something to cheer about, including that finger roll by Ollie Thompson. It'll be the final basket of the ball game. So it's 18 and 12 for Arkansas, and they are going to New York. Nolan Richardson's Hogs advance. The final, 86-73. They survive a scare from UNLV and win on their home court here in Fayetteville. That's going to wrap it up for Len Elmore and our entire ESPN crew. I'm Brad Nessler saying so long. Sports Center is coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.